everyone, and thank you so much for joining Teens Talk Television. Today, we are talking about being a good college student and mental health and wellness. We have a lovely group of panelists. If you guys can go through and say your names and your college just one more time, and then we'll get started. So we'll start with Ariel again. We'll go through our ladies, and then we'll pick up with Andrew.
Hey everybody, my name is Ariel Wright. I attend Morgan State and I'm a sophomore biology major.
Hey everybody, my name is Damaris Moore. I'm a sophomore advertising major and I go to Howard University and I'm from Waldorf, Maryland.
Hey everyone, I'm Delaney Haggins. I am a senior this fall at Montclair State University and I'm a business administration major with a concentration in marketing, and I am from Ellicott City, Maryland.
What's up, everybody? My name is Andrew. I'm from Morgan State University, and I'm a multi-platform production major.
What's up, y'all? My name is David. I go to Towson University, and right now I'm studying healthcare administration.
Thank you guys so much. So my first question for you guys is, how did high school prepare you for college, if anything? So we'll start with Delaney.
Sure. I'm just trying to think back. I would say as far as for high school, how it prepared me for college, for the most part, I felt like I received a great education at my high school. I attended public high school in Howard County. And I didn't go to private school, route, but I felt for the most part, my education was pretty great. And I felt that my school, they provided a lot of opportunities for us to better ourselves in ways to prepare for college. We had all different types of clubs and organizations where it kind of prepared us in a way to be organized as far as for college.
For me, I went to a good school as well. I don't know how much I think high school prepared me. I think they always, try to prepare you, but it's about you and, what you're ready for. I think that I, in a lot of ways, wasn't prepared just because experience is the best teacher. So once I encountered new things in college and learned how to maneuver within them, then I knew how to handle it. But I mean, throughout my life, I, had different things that prepared me. I can't name anything specific from high school, though.
I went to a private high school. So for me, I feel like high school was harder than college, just based off like the assignments we were getting and all that. But for real, time management is just the biggest thing at the end of the day. Just knowing when to really lock in and just finish your work, because ain't nobody gonna be on your back like, did you turn this in? Did you turn this in? You know what I'm saying? So time management is key.
I would agree with what Andrew has said. I went to Suitland High School. I took a lot of IB classes. I took classes at my local community college like throughout the summer. So academic wise, I did great. I graduated with valedictorian in my class, 4.6 GPA, loved it, everything. But in terms of the real life, I would say it could have done better, but it definitely prepared me for situations where you have to take accountability for yourself and being prepared to have them tough conversations with your teachers, because they're not going to sit here and baby you once you get to college. But overall, I would say my experience was pretty good.
I would definitely say my experience going to like a private high school, I would say it was definitely very rigorous, but you got out of high school, which you kind of like chose to get out of it. So like if you had a strong work ethic, you already like trained yourself just working hard, then you'll probably just fine in college. But if you just kind of skated through high school, then you probably wouldn't be too prepared.
Thank you guys for sharing. I don't know about you guys' high school, but when I was a freshman in high school, they got rid of our finals. So I spent most of my time in high school not taking finals, meaning that I had no clue how to study. So how did you guys acclimate to studying for, the end of the semester and a whole, curriculum's worth of content by the time the end of the term came? Does anybody have any tips to share with our viewers?
A tip that I have is taking really good notes. And also being very present and paying attention in class, because you are able to study less when you're very present in the time that you're given in class. So if you're listening and you're taking down notes, and you're able to in the time in between the professor is talking or whatever, you're able to piece certain things together and grasp them and understand them, you can take less time to study, which really is more time effective. In my opinion, I'm not the best studier because I'm an environment person. So when I'm in the environment to learn or grasp a concept is the best time for me to be able to pick that up. So definitely taking advantage of having the professor right there in your face, taking advantage of your classmates next to you to be able to help you put certain things together to understand certain things, and taking down really good notes. Sometimes you might be given a PowerPoint. And what I would do is I would try to, at times, take down on my laptop or whatever, almost word for word what the professor says, because 9 times out of 10, dependent on the professor, they're going to piece it together in a story kind of way. And it's easier for you to reread through that and follow that line of thinking rather than bullet points where you have to read between the lines. So that's what worked for me.
For me, I feel as though in high school, I know for me, I was a cheerleader all throughout high school from freshman to senior year. And I feel as though when times got very busy, the best thing that helped me out to be successful was time management. I felt that maybe spending anywhere from 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, taking time out of the day to study a particular subject, that made me very successful. And also small groups, how Damaris mentioned, utilizing your teacher, asking for assistance, as well as your peers in your class. That is very essential. That way you're not falling behind. If anything, you're helping yourself out by making sure that you can remain successful.
I would say definitely make sure that you understand your professors' expectations going in. So you understand what they're looking for on papers, especially big papers, exams, because sometimes certain professors don't really give you rigid guidelines on what to do, or they don't really give really good rubrics or study guides or something like that. So you definitely want to meet with them. Especially if you're having trouble in the class, you want to definitely understand what they want from you so you can better succeed in the class.
I would like to emphasize the whole thing that Delaney has said about time management. My biggest thing when coming to college was I wasn't good at it, and I didn't realize it until I got there. So my biggest thing is that I learned about myself was being realistic with my time. If I know I have a few assignments to do, instead of saying, okay, y'all get them done by the day, actually sitting down, creating a schedule, getting a big old to-do calendar hanging on the back of my door, something that was just helping me out. And I will also say making connections with your peers, a small group after class, once a week, do something, but reaching out to your professors is definitely beneficial too.
I want to also add to that and say that and be more specific as to what helped me in high school or what prepared me, because I didn't necessarily answer it the first time. But in English, when we had Socratic seminars or whatever, and then we got into a circle and we're all talking, or the teacher would specifically point out, every student or students who aren't participating. It can be annoying, but participation is another way to maximize your time, because if you have questions that rise up, you may have them after the fact when you're reviewing your notes or whatever, but sitting there and being just participating, raising your hand, asking questions, making sure you clearly understand the material, because life happens sometimes and it was times where I would plan on going to office hours, but then I had this meeting pop up, or I had to do this, I had to do that. If you just maximize the time that you're given, you already have to be in class, ask those questions, take down that answer. And like I said, it's going to be maximizing your time. And that's what helped me in high school was, kind of being forced to participate.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what everybody said so far. Key thing is just asking questions, never being afraid to just ask a question. You may think it's dumb, but my mother always tell me no question is ever a dumb question. So just don't be afraid to speak up. And Damaris said, being present in class, really think about what the professor is talking about and see if you can answer without him, giving the answer himself, and really like, really be there in the class and try to learn from it. Like, don't waste your time, don't waste your money.
Big on the don't waste your money. My parents were like, you got 4 years and that's it and you're done. So I definitely feel you on that. But as far as studying, what's the best place on your campus to study? Personally, I can't be anywhere near my bed because it will call out my name. And then next thing I know, I will be asleep. So where on y'all's campus is the best place for y'all to really get into the nitty gritty to really understand everything? We'll start with David.
I would say Towson really is a beautiful campus. I can't lie to you. So like, a lot of people like to study outside. We have this place. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's like an overhang and there's like a turf kind of like area, kind of grass area where there's like tables, stools, and like stuff like that where people like study. I like studying in the Union, which is basically like we have like Chick-fil-A in there. So you can like go upstairs and actually like book like one of those like conference rooms. And then you could just like grab a few people and just like study with them in there. So I like doing that. Or sometimes I'll just like go to the library.
Me personally, my go-to is the library just because it's quiet. You can always just link up with your other friends in the class so y'all can just have a group. I like to study with other people. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? I can help them, they can help me and whatnot. So definitely the library for me.
For me, it's also the library, but it's a specific library because there's a
What?
library.
Which one?
It's definitely for me either Founders or HSL. Yeah, because UGL, so there's the undergraduate, like, yeah, UGL is where it's basically the student center, honestly. It's a library, but everybody be up in there. Like, that's the one you go where you just want to socialize, honestly. It's probably one of the worst. I mean, if you go there in the late hours, you know what I'm saying? Normally people go in the back room or they go in one of the private rooms, but the issue with the private rooms is they're see-through. So you see somebody walking through, you're like, oh, hey, what's up? It's not gonna work. So I study at HSL or Founders. Founders is very quiet, but HSL has these large rooms. It's the health and sciences library. So often, you know, like nursing majors and stuff like that study, and you know, they have the materials there with the textbooks and all the sciencey health, whatever stuff. But me and my friends, we would get a large room and sit in there. We would be in there all day working on work. You know, sometimes talking and stuff, but I agree with Drew on, you know, studying with a group of people, because getting other people's perspectives or help with different subjects is very beneficial. But the library.
For me, my sanctuary as far as for a great study environment is at my School of Business on my campus. That is a great place for me to lock in and really study. As well as on my campus, we have a great academic building, the Sales Building, which is really pretty because it overlooks New York City, which is very therapeutic at times, where I can kind of go out there when it's a lot warmer outside and I can take my laptop and jot down some notes and really dive in and study. And as well as like, you know, on the school library, as everyone kind of has mentioned so far, that's always a great quiet area to kind of study and again, lock in. That way I'm focused.
I would like to emphasize the library too. With Madison, I can't stay in my room. I can't study in there. But I will also say one of my biggest things that I found this semester was going back into whatever classroom I'm studying for. Like having that material plastered around me has been very beneficial.
I definitely feel you on that because at Howard University, our biology building never closes. It's open all the time. So people do study there very often. You have something to add, Damaris, real quick, or you're good?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say also coffee shops. It's kind of like, you know, kind of movie-esque, but I love studying in coffee shops. The Starbucks at Howard plays good music all the time, that good R&B. So that works. Normally people are quiet in there. Sometimes it's busy and whatnot, but normally it's full with people doing work or, you know, doing whatever they're doing. And it's also kind of, I actually met a mentor at Starbucks, and we connected, and he was actually a communications grad student at the time I was business, and he actually helped me switch. So also that, there's two kinds of work you can do, academic and also your personal life work. So I love the coffee shop.
Thank you for that. So how do you all utilize different resources like at your school, whether you have learning disability or you have mental health struggles or even socially like a mentor? What is something that you think your university does a really good job of compared to other schools that you were considering? And we will start with Ariel.
I want to say the biggest thing for me is this club called Evolve at Morgan. It's kind of like a mentorship between like different females. I know it's other clubs on campus, but that club specifically, I would say I just love it because of like it's so open-minded, and then like the females are saying it's like nobody is judgmental. So that one.
For me, at my university, we have a Center for Writing Excellence, which that comes in handy a lot, especially in regards to a lot of my writing courses, which a lot of times it's very beneficial if I'm struggling with a paper and I need some assistance. They're very helpful. And also, again, small groups, that's very helpful. That way I'm able to piggyback off of my other peers. And that way, if they may have a specific idea that I didn't necessarily think about, I'm able to bounce back on that idea and kind of create from that. As well as I definitely take advantage of TA assistance on campus. If I'm not able to utilize right away my professor, I feel as though they come in handy quite a bit.
So my freshman year on campus, my RA, he eventually became my mentor. So thankfully I was able to just have somebody, like really just in the back of my mind, like keeping me, updated with what's going on campus, trying to make sure I don't stay in my room and things like that. But besides that, we do also have a writing center at Morgan, and there's also a plethora of clubs you can join. I'm in Smooth, so it's basically just a whole bunch of young men trying to, just keep our heads straight because there'd be so much going on, so many things that can distract you while you're in college. So joining a group of men or women that will just, keep you where you're supposed to be at in life is essential.
Yeah, so at Tulsa we have like writing centers, and we have like I would say, yeah, it's definitely a lot of different types of clubs that you can get into. One is called Brotherhood, which is primarily just like African American men like me. So we just chop it up, talk about just regular like daily stuff. We have like workshops and just mental health based things as well. I would say Towson could be better with like just creating like more mental health clubs and just devices and just making them more available to the students, or just maybe just making the students more aware. But yeah, we do have like counseling centers and stuff like that if you're really like struggling and need some help.
Howard also has counseling and like different organizations and stuff like that, that are support groups, which I plan on joining one. My organization that I did join, we had practices, but we also had study halls every Sunday. So in that study hall, that's the time where, and everybody has to be there. So you have to sit and do your work or whatever. And I also utilize the upperclassmen, especially ones who I knew were very academically excelling. And I took their advice on, how to write papers, how to do this, how to do that, plethora of things. So definitely getting advice and perspective from people that have kind of had more experience in what you're currently trying to get through. Yeah.
I will also like to add, I feel as though, depending on the university, I feel as though it's very important to establish a relationship with your advisor. I feel as though that way you can stay on point as far as making sure you can graduate with all your credits. I think that is very important. A lot of times you may not notice, but you can get behind in a lot of your academics in college. So just staying on top of everything and making sure that you're on track with your advisor, that's very important.
That's super important because there are people who don't graduate because they're missing certain courses, or things that they had to take, or certain credits, whatever, that they weren't necessarily on top of. It can sometimes depend on your university, especially with HBCUs, staffing and administration kind of struggles with being super attentive in terms of your advisor, or your advisor even leading you in the correct direction. Because I had another advisor before my current one, and he led me in the complete wrong direction, based off of his own, I guess, whatever he wanted to do, and not necessarily listening to me. So also building a relationship with your advisor, but also a head of a department or something like that, somebody that you can rely on, who is very knowledgeable and qualified to be, a leader in that subject matter, that school or department, who can also help you with that kind of academic thing, should somebody who it's their job to help you fails or falls short of that.
And I would just like to throw in there, Damaris made some really good points. Even if you don't have a great relationship with an advisor on your campus, establish a mentor, as Andrew mentioned. I feel as though that's very important, to have someone you can trust, someone you can talk to, whether it be an upperclassman, whether it be a friend who, knows things that you're not aware of. So definitely utilizing your surroundings and making sure you have someone that can be your right-hand person that you can trust.
Yeah, y'all are definitely onto something. I have an advisor in the School of Communications, and she saved my life freshman year. And every time Christmas comes around, she gets a Starbucks gift card, because if not, I would still be a freshman right now. So definitely appreciate those who are around you, and take everything that they have. So we talked a little bit about social stuff. So we are a technology generation, Instagram, all that fun stuff. So I kind of want to talk about mental health and the role that social media plays on your mental health. I don't know about y'all's university, but Howard is Telfar factory. It's just it's very flash, it's very fashion oriented, it girl, city girl, like everything. So talk to me a little bit about how social media like impacts you at school, and how you kind of make sure that you are like staying within your reality. And we'll start with Ariel.
Okay. All right, so I want to say, like, when I first came to school, like, be honest, I'm not big into all the name brands and everything, but when I step out, I step out. So coming to school, it was first I'm seeing everybody dressing up and stuff. I'm like, y'all not comfortable in sweatpants and Crocs like me? What's going on? That type of thing. But I would definitely say it's always friendly competition, what I love. And, Telfars, they're big. All different name brands are big on campus, but just staying true to what you love and what you like is really important. And don't let nobody influence y'all.
I agree with that, but I also think that it was a shock coming to Howard's campus. I'm like, okay, I'm stepping now. I'm like, okay, I clearly need to go back and change. But one thing that I will say about that is, like, iron sharpens iron. So it gave me a level of, like, you know what I'm saying? My mother always taught me to take pride in your appearance, but I learned it in a different way when I was at Howard, is that you never know who you're going to meet. And the first impression is a lasting impression, and it's just about your own self-esteem. You know what I mean? Whether you're in sweats or, whatever, going out and making sure that you're groomed, you know what I'm saying? That you look right to some degree, that you're also treating people with kindness. As it pertains to social media, it's easy to get caught up in what other people are doing and what you're not doing. But for that, I would just say it's all about perspective. You have to make that motivate you. And what I mean by that is, something I can relate it to is like Asante Black. He went to North Point. I went to St. Charles. It's in the same county. And so I saw him, he was in When They See Us or whatever like that. It's about somebody coming from the same place you are and then excelling. So it's like, if other students at Howard, we're at the same school, in the same environment, getting the same education. If they can do this, then I can do this. So it's about, okay, what do I need to do to excel in my own lane? Because it's also about you pursuing your own path. No one person's path is the same as yours. No timetable is assigned to your dreams or your goals. but you do have to stay motivated. And so it's about perspective. So don't let social media fool you into thinking that you're not moving fast enough or that you're not doing enough, but let it be a motivator, and take other people's successes and be genuinely happy for them, because that means that God is in your neighborhood and he can move things for you how he moved things for them.
As far as my university, for the most part, I feel as though everyone is comfortable within their own skin. I mean, I go to a relatively medium-sized campus, and I'm up north. I'm near New York City, as I mentioned, and if anything, fashion is very big where I am. But for the most part, a lot of people, they are very comfortable within their own selves. And for the most part, of course, there, the trends that are very big on Instagram, Twitter, whatnot, trying to, fit it within the lines of those trends with Telfar and whatnot. But for the most part, everyone has their own style, which is really nice to see.
I'm gonna just piggyback off what the mayor said. Just really staying in your own lane and being focused on what you got going on and not what everybody else got going on. Because honestly, like it can be hard to just go on Instagram and not try to compare yourself to what somebody your age or somebody in your group has or whatever. But just staying true to yourself and knowing that if they can get it, you can get it too, and believing in yourself and staying true to yourself. That's all what it's about. So.
I would say like definitely picking back on what you just said. So I would say definitely success finds you when you just stop looking around like what everybody else is doing. You just hone in on your own craft. You just work hard on you and just being the best version of yourself. So I would say definitely at my university, people dress kind of like all over the place. So like you would definitely see people in sweats and like sandals, but then you see people like bust down every single day. You see people out there in suits because they like in the business schools. So you see basically a big like range of everything, but it's always you kind of just always kind of was taught as a kid that no matter what you look like, as long as you smell good, as long as you know how to dress, as long as you know how to talk, then you basically got it.
Yeah, you guys talked on like one of Howard's biggest sayings, which I thought was so annoying when I was a freshman, but it's what's for you shall not pass you. And it's something that we literally hear every day, and it's sickening, it's annoying, but I think it's something that's really helped me in terms of like imposter syndrome and just knowing that like I belong at the university that I belong to. And if I wasn't smart, I wouldn't have gotten in here. So, you've gotten yourself that far, and you just really have to keep going and keep pushing. So thank you guys so much for that. And another really big adjustment in college is being away from your parents. So how has your mental health shifted, or what have you learned about yourself since being a little bit further away from your parents? Have you thrived a little bit more being away from them, or have you learned that some of the things that your parents or mom has done has really supported you throughout your time? So we will start with Drew.
Um, well, I actually don't live too far from my campus, so I can easily just come home whenever I want, to be honest with y'all. But I feel like while I was away, I definitely have grown like a ton. Being away from your parents, it'll teach you a lot about yourself. Being alone, like even if like, well, with me, I came into college with people I already knew, so I already had like a group of friends for real. But even then, I still learn a lot by myself, and being by yourself, that'll teach you a lot of things. So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but yeah.
You did. Thank you.
I think that being away from my mom not only taught me a lot about myself, but also about parents and thinking about them as people, because you meet a lot of your peers who come from different backgrounds, and you hear about their kind of stories and how they were raised and stuff. And you kind of are able to look at your parents as just people besides them providing for you and stuff like that. So I think that I looked at my mother kind of in a different way in terms of, okay, she just trying to understand her more in terms of why she is the way that she is, and then also breaking down how she raised me. And I think that she raised me super well. And so yeah, I love coming back home and hanging with my mom. It's always just been the two of us, so we have a really good relationship, so I always look forward to that. But I think that I definitely thrived a lot by being away because, as I mentioned in the previous episode or whatever, that she, she does a lot for me. And so I was able to learn how to do things for myself more. And yeah.
For me, I am located 2.5 hours away from home, which may not seem that far at all. But if anything, I'm an only child, so I'm very close with my parents. And so moving away from home, definitely I had to mature very fast, which is a great thing because independency is very very fun to be able to be independent. And I feel as though learning how to budget, that was a big thing, especially for my freshman year. I did live in a commuter style dorm, but my my freshman and sophomore year, I lived on campus. And then now for my junior going in my senior year, I lived in an on-campus, off-campus style apartment. And so I had to purchase groceries. I had to really make sure that I was budgeting. And so a lot of times just making sure that I budget well and time manage, as well as a lot of times my parents really embedded in me, just stay true to who I am. I'm a very lovable person. I feel as though I will continue to be that person, to someone else, be that person that can always lean on someone else if you can do that for yourself. So yeah, that's how, if anything, that's how I was able to.
I was just gonna say, me going to Morgan, it's only like an hour and 15 minutes up the beltway. Whenever I need my mom, if she's there, I'm on the phone with my mother at least like 3 hours a day, some days. But I love being away from her. Sometimes, it's really helped me thrive as like the person I am. Being placed into like a on-campus apartment my first year, it was definitely tough going to get groceries. I'm telling my mom I'm going out 9 o'clock just to go to meet my friends, and she like, Ari, you sure you want to do that? I'm like, Mom, you don't really have a say so. Like, I gotta go study. Like, I have stuff to do, I gotta grow up. So I mean, it's definitely scary. I'm being honest. It's days where I'm scared to like walk home by myself, but I'm like, I'm a big girl, not having a car on campus, catching Ubers. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot that comes with growing up, but I feel like it's all a part of the experience that everybody has to take.
I wanted to just add really quickly that to kind of piggyback off of what Ariel said, um, getting groceries and like things like that. I also learned about like wasting stuff. It's certain things that click for you that, I feel like when you're growing up, your parents, like, I feel like the whole time parenting in general is preparing you for adulthood. And so when you're now stepping into adulthood, things click in a different way. You might be like, oh, okay, I understand. But it's like everything that my mom said, it's like it clicks. And my dad too. And so I find myself in high school, I would look to my friends or I would look to other people besides my parents, because your parents are always talking to you and telling you things. And so you're like, okay, like I hear this all the time, let me look elsewhere. But once it started to click for me, I found myself calling my dad, calling my mom, like, what should I do in this situation? What should I do in that situation? Because I learned that like I need to actually listen. They know what they're talking about for real. So that clicked for me.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. So I want us to pretend like we could write a letter to our high school selves. If you could do that, what would you tell yourself about college? Like, what advice would you give yourself if you had any roadblocks, or if you were not as, shy or something? Like, what advice would you give yourself to help yourself out a little bit? And we'll start with David on this one.
Yeah, so I would definitely that's actually kind of interesting you say that, because like when I think it was like my senior retreat in high school, we actually did something like that. We said, I haven't read my letter to myself, but yeah, we wrote like a letter just to basically say, what would you want to tell your future self this next year in college? Like, what would you want to say to yourself? And I think I said something more along the lines of definitely focus, because I'm always like all over the place. I consider myself to be pretty like multifaceted. So like when you're like that, you tend to just like look around and be like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. But then you kind of just have to like sit within yourself and like understand that you have to kind of hone in to be successful. So basically, I would say be focused, have fun, have balance, because everybody likes to have fun, but then there's people on two extremes. So it's like people who's out there having fun every day, all day, every day. Then there's people who are just like workaholics. I just probably want to remind myself just to be balanced. And then other than that, just have fun, trust the people, like the support systems around you. So remember just to keep God in your life, keep your parents there, your support system. And I would say, yeah, just, and also remember to like keep the good friends around. So like cultivate those friendships and like kind of watch who you're hanging around, because they definitely like become part of who you are.
I would definitely say, like what David was saying, watch who you keep around you. Discretion is key in more ways than one. That's what being on Howard's campus taught me, is that discretion is key. Everybody's not your friend. Everybody that you meet's not your friend. Word can get around quick about anything. So discretion is key. Just keep things low key, because I know it's easy. You know, you meet somebody, you just want to talk. Me, I'm a talkative person. You know, you might have kind of gauged that. But I'm a very extroverted person. I'm a talkative person. You know, just keep it on the low. And also, definitely find that balance, have that balance, stay focused. Live it up, have fun, have a whole bunch of fun. Don't be afraid to try different things, try everything. That's what there was a panel that they had at Springfest at Howard, and you know, some of the things that they touched on was, you know, try everything, you know, always believing in yourself. I forget where he's an executive, like specifically what department, I think it was like youth and something like that at YouTube. And he was like, never let your education stop you from getting your education. So what that basically means is that, you know, you have your academics, yes, but there's life lessons to learn, there's career lessons to learn, because you have to be able, it goes along with time management. You have to find opportunities to, you know what I'm saying, make moves for your career. So if you can, you know what I'm saying, be under the wing of a mentor, or you know, shadow somebody, find a way to make that work and get that education too, because you're going to have your degree, but what happens if you want to switch your career field? You know what I'm saying? So get those kind of both sides of that education. Be very smart with your money management, man. What, when I tell you I worked all summer, freshman year hit, I don't even want to tell you how much money I spent. I don't want to tell you. I'm not going to tell you, but you need to make sure that you're managing your money. Manage your money correctly, be open, network. Like I said, everybody's not your friend, taking in advice, and just do your best to be open to different things, but having the ability to have really good discernment, discerning your friends, discerning what information you want to believe, and things like that, because there's a lot of people who have these kind of big personalities or big ideas that can influence you, that, you know what I'm saying, may not be for the best.
For me, I would definitely say networking is very key. So I definitely agree with Damaris on that. Also, take a deep breath. If that's one thing I could have told myself back in high school, take a deep breath, enjoy every day, live in the moment. As you know, time flies, man. I can't believe I'm gearing up for my senior year. So definitely just live in the moment, enjoy life, celebrate your accomplishments as much as you can, because a lot of people, they don't pat themselves on the back as much as they should. I feel as though we work hard. We work hard as young students, especially, you know, in this pandemic. It hasn't been easy for all of us. So I feel as though definitely applaud yourself for all the hard work that you put in. That's very important. And hold yourself accountable. I think holding yourself accountable is very important as well. And for the most part, stay focused.
Ooh, I really love what Delaney had just said. I would say my biggest thing looking back at high school was I was always scared of saying like, okay, well, I'm taking extra summer classes, which means I'm gonna be ahead of like my current class. And my mother always say like, Ariel, that's what's meant for you is what meant for you. So I would say don't be scared of taking wherever you're at and just going with it. Like whether that's letting go for a specific group of friends, not having a job over the summer so that you can just focus on classes, whatever it is important. I would say making sure that you congratulate yourself. Like I'm still saying here, like, oh yeah, I've been out of high school a year, but I still feel like I haven't congratulated myself on being a valedictorian. It's just like, to me, it's just like, okay, it's just another accomplishment. But it's like taking that time, really saying like you've been doing good, but also don't be afraid of the fact that you can do better. Like it's always ways that you can find improvement, whether that's meeting with somebody on campus, having that mentor, talking to your parents, just anything, just reaching out. Don't be scared to make connections with people.
So if I could tell myself anything going into college, I would definitely tell myself to stay focused, stay in your lane. Don't let all the negativity distract you, or everything that's going on. Because Baltimore is a busy city, and I know DC definitely a busy city too. So it just be a lot going on. So really just stay in your path. Be careful who you around, who energy you decide to put around your energy, because that's gonna rub off on you. And have fun, like live it up, like because you only get that time once. And like Delaney said, time has passed so fast. Just take a breath and really just be in that present moment, really take it all in and enjoy that time. Um, Besides that, I feel like y'all talked about everything.
I felt y'all on all of it. First and foremost, I would warn myself about COVID. That's the first thing I would have done in my letter to myself. But additionally, I would tell myself that it's okay to say no. Like I've been on go, like doing job after job after job after job for like the past 2 years. So I would be like, you can sit down, you can relax. And very, very, very big on celebrating yourself. I think that I don't know about you guys, but I look at my parents and all that they've done and their sacrifices for me to live the life that I live, to the point where I'm like, oh, well, I just have to do this because they've worked so hard. And for me not to do it seems like disrespectful and like I'm not grateful for it. So, even though like I should be doing it and that's the position that they've allowed me to be in, that I should really still like pat myself on the back, because there are people who have great parents and they just still aren't in a great situation. So I would just give myself more grace for sure. But I love everything that y'all have said. Does anybody have any just overall arching advice for just college, how to be a good student, how to stay sane in the mental place, because college is hard? I don't think that we give ourselves credit for knowing that college is hard. So any last thing anybody wants to say?
Write down everything that you have. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Write down everything that you have on your mind, because it's so easy to forget. Like literally just write down what you gotta do for the day. So like you'll be more confident in what you gotta do and everything that you gotta get done.
Definitely writing things down as it pertains to your schedule and journaling or any creative form of like expressing yourself, I think is very important. Or but keeping track of things, because I think that also goes along with celebrating your accomplishments and stuff, is just maybe going at the end of each day, taking inventory. Okay, what did I do today? I did this, and this. Okay, great. What am I doing tomorrow? Things like that, keeping it organized. And also, yeah, making sure that you don't wait on other people to celebrate you. You celebrate you. And also, yeah, just making sure to maximize your time in college and live your life. Tomorrow is, what I'm saying, not promised at all. So living your best life in the best way possible. Sometimes you want to make the wrong decisions, but if you're going to make the wrong decisions, make the safest wrong decision. That's my advice.
I would say overall, take advantage of all the resources that you can. If you're someone who is not someone who you see yourself getting active on a university of your choice, step out of your comfort zone. Attend different club organizations on campus that you maybe thought you would have never thought about joining, but do something different. Meet people out of your particular friend group. I feel as though that's the beauty about college, just exploring new opportunities and seeking a newer version of yourself that you can have yourself be successful in the near future. And overall, just time management, making sure you're able to time manage well. That way you can be successful.
would say like the biggest thing that you can do for yourself, and especially like during college, is learning yourself. So like learn what makes you want to be motivated. Learn how like the best way for you to study. Learn the best type of people that you want to be around. Learn what you want to do with your life. Learn like everything. Just learn, just be like a master of yourself. And that's what I would say.
To piggyback off of that real quick, heavy on all of those things is learn yourself and change. Like don't be the same. I think that sometimes people are like, oh, I'm gonna be the same person, I'm always the same person, this and that, whatever. Change is good, and you can't get different results if you stay the same. And the whole purpose of going to college is for you to excel and advance. So strive for change and strive to be different in the best ways. And sometimes that may also come with changes in your circle. You may outgrow certain relationships or situations, and just know that that is okay, and that's supposed to happen, and that's a part of life, and don't shame it. It might, you know what I'm saying, it's not the most comfortable or warm feeling, but it's necessary. It's like it's safe to say that growth is an uncomfortable process, and pain is a necessary investment for progress. And that's so facts. Like that's just a quote for life. Like for real, it's uncomfortable and it might be painful, but it's necessary. I'm telling you.
And I would just like to emphasize, learn to be comfortable with yourself, learn to be okay with losing things, but also learn to fight for the things that you want as well. I seen this one quote on Instagram, y'all probably seen it too. It's just like, the biggest thing college has taught me is be comfortable taking L's because the next one due at 11:59. Yeah, that.
For sure, absolutely, especially that's a good quote. That's a good quote. Well, thank you guys again for being here. We really appreciate it. That wraps up the end of today's episode. For more information on this topic, go to inreachinc.org to learn more information about upcoming events and other things going on in Prince George's County. And thank you guys, and we will see you guys next time.